Picture this, you're handed pen and paper and you've got mere moments to sketch out a plan to go from 0 to 1 that's not just effective, but downright bulletproof. No time for fluff, just raw, results-driven tactics that cut through the noise. You see, I've been in those trenches, my friend, where complexity suffocates progress. But after years of hard-won battles, I've distilled this into 5 essential elements. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on how I craft a strategy using what I call the 5 elements of growth. These aren't just steps, they are the very roadmap that took me from hustle to triumph and stagnation to explosive. So let's dive in. Number 1, market. This is who exactly are your customers. You see, understanding your customers better than anyone else is a competitive advantage. You're either doing customer research or you're guessing, and guessing is not good. In today's market, there are so many options out there than ever, and companies pop up every day. The main difference between you and the next business is how well you know your customers. So customer research helps you close the gap between what you know and what you think you know. Many business problems can be explained by the lack of customer research. So these problems can be where customers are signing up, but they're just turning out as fast as they are coming in. Experiments are expensive or underperforming. Prospects are expressing a lot of interest, but they're not closing into customers. New features and products don't seem to be making a difference at all to the revenue growth. So customer research will inform your strategy across the business and unlock the insights you need to grow. For example, you can do this by conducting surveys, doing video calls with customers. That's what I did. Doing granular online research on like forums and communities. That's another thing I did as well that really helped me. Number 2, product. So what are your customers trying to achieve that you can help them with? There's this quote that says, if your product is remarkable, getting noticed is a lot easier. So basically, all marketing is derivative of the product, right? You can't polish a turd. So what makes a good product? So one way to think about this is on this matrix, on how big a problem is and how frequently that problem occurs. Basically, you want to solve big, frequent problems, or small, frequent problems, or big, rare problems, but never small, rare problems, which is a recipe for disaster. This is another matrix comparing difference and demand. You want to build features that are high demand and can be unique through high difference, or at least be low demand but have different features. Basically, the one that everyone kind of uses is high demand and low difference because these features are kind of necessary and check the boxes of what the market needs. So yeah, a lot of companies do this as the demand is still there, but never build features that are low demand and low difference. Next is model. So this is how you engage, monetize, and retain your customers. I will jump on this quickly as not everyone in marketing and growth can directly make a change to the product and model, but it's important to know how they interconnect with marketing and engineer growth. So there are 2 models. One is the activation model, which is getting people into the product, and 2 is the pricing model, how you charge them for using it. So there's this term called model market fit. It pretty much means that the market dictates the model. Whoever is in charge of the pricing needs to match the activation model and pricing model with the way the customers find value in the product. The goal is to find the activation model that results in the most customers, not the most leads. There are 5 major activation models. 1, freemium. a limited version of the product that is free for a limited amount of time. 2 is free trial. So this is the full version of the product for free, but a limited time. 3 is paid trial, a limited time access to the full product for a small fee. 4, money back guarantee, a full refund offered if the product is unsatisfactory within a period. And lastly, 5, consultation, a session with an expert to discuss the needs and provide personal advice. So let's dive into the pricing model. So with pricing, a marketer can come up with their strategies. There are 7 major strategies. So number 1 is positioning. So this is pricing based on how your product compares to others in the market. So this image shows here a quick overview on how you can approach this. Then we have number 2, discounting. So offering lower prices for annual plans or special one-off deals. Number 3 is anchoring. So this is setting a high starting price to make the other options seem cheaper. Number 4 is bundling. So this is selling multiple products together for an overall better deal. 5 is perks, so adding extra features or service to justify a higher price. 6 is localization, so adjusting pricing based on different regions or market. And lastly, number 7, make recommendations. So offering personalized pricing based on customer needs or usage. Next up is messaging and positioning, which means why are you the best solution for your customers? You see, most companies out there present vague benefits and technical jargon instead of the underlying transformation and end outcome customers actually want. Every opportunity counts because you most likely only get one shot when someone visits your website. You only have their attention for so long. There are other softwares out there fighting for their time and attention. So the power of great messaging and positioning is people are immediately hooked when they land on your website. Internet strangers feel understood and appreciated. You're top of mind and memorable. People immediately understand what you do, how you can help them, and why your product is the best solution for them. I see it as this: storytelling plus defensible arguments equals great messaging and positioning. For thousands of years, we've communicated through stories, something that has a beginning and an end, something that describes what someone is going through. But as a marketer, you also need to be convincing, and you can't just shout facts at them and expect that to work. So you have to be able to do both. That takes someone through a story that convinces them that your product is for them. So craft a story just for your customers that positions yourself as the best option. And this is through positioning and messaging. So let's start with positioning. Positioning is not messaging. Positioning is about who your product is for and why they should choose you over others. You can't have good messaging without good positioning. Here's 5 steps to break down your positioning. Number 1 is understand who loves your product. Figure out your biggest fans and why they love and what they love about your product. 2 is list competitive alternatives. Know what other options your customers have besides your product. 3 is isolate unique attributes and features. Identify what makes your product different and better than the competition. 4 is map features to value. So connect your product's features to the benefits they bring to the customers. 5 is find a market frame of reference where you win. So determine the market category where your product stands out and can succeed. So this leads to the second part, messaging. You can do this through the classic copywriting formulas. There are so many out there. I'll just share a few of my favorites. One of my favorites is before, after, bridge. So show the situation before, the desired outcome after, and how your product bridges the gap. 2 is old way versus new way. Highlight how your solution differs from the traditional approach. Another one is one of the classics is pass, problem, agitate, solution. Identify the problem, amplify it, then present your solution. Another classic is AIDA, so attention, interest, desire, action. Grab their attention, build their interest, create desire, and prompt some kind of action. And I'll give one more, which is the 4 C's. So be clear, concise, compelling, and credible in your copy. Next up is the final element, number 5, channels. This is where you can find and communicate with your potential customers. In this section, I had to really hold back on sharing a lot of the tactics because ultimately it's the strategy that really matters. So which channel? You have to decide that. In almost every case, things are actually simpler than they appear. We humans have a tendency to overcomplicate and over-engineer solutions and overthink things. My advice is to keep it simple. Choose 3 to 4 growth channels and test 1 or 2 at a time. This leads to this. Your job as a marketer is to meet people where they are at. You can't sell to everyone the same way. Each channel requires different strategies and tactics to cater to the stages of awareness a prospective customer is in. The key is to understand how these growth channels are going to work. And this is through Eugene Schwartz's 5 levels of awareness. Number 1 is the most aware. They are motivated to solve the problem. Plus, they believe your type of solution is the best. Maybe they just need a nudge or just some kind of verification to get started. Your prospect knows your product and only needs to know the deal. 2 is product aware. So they're motivated to solve the problem and aware of your product, but they aren't sure which solution is the best. Your prospect knows what you sell, but isn't sure if it's right for them. 3 is solution aware. They are aware solutions exist, but isn't aware about your product, or if it's a solution to their problem. Your prospect knows the results they want, but not that your product can provide it. 4 is problem aware. So they're experiencing the problem, but unaware that solutions exist. And lastly, 5 is completely unaware. They're not experiencing the problem that your product solves or not aware that there is even a problem. So your job through channels is to help customers acquire these factors if they are missing any, as well as to find the ones that already possess all 5 of these factors with a message and offer that addresses their problem. So here's a quick bird's eye view and snapshot of some of the channels out there and how you can come up with a decision yourself on how to approach them. So that's an overview of the 5 elements of growth: market, product, model, messaging and positioning, and lastly, channels. So I hope you find this insightful. If you like this video, I'm certain you'll like this one.